and people were out there, and there's still pictures all over the place of all the people that you used to work with, and you'd go and look, and then every now and then you'd see people you knew, and that would really tear you up. But then you'd think their family is waiting for their body to be returned or for them to be recovered. And so it was after the Marsh Memorial at the end of October, because at the memorial was at St. Patrick's Cathedral, and Giuliani presided over it. And basically, like, in hindsight, the people who presided over 9/11 then presided over the funerary rites of these people and the memory of them.
Said on ABC video with Peter Jennings in an interview that you were aware that towers were going to collapse in advance. We'd like to know who told you the towers were going to collapse in advance, sir, and also we'd like to know who else you told.
Well, the fact is that I didn't realize the towers would collapse. I never realized that.
I went down to the scene, and we set up headquarters at 75 Barclay Street, which was right there with the police commissioner, the fire commissioner, the head of emergency management, and we were operating out of there when we were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse.
Who presided over 9/11?
When we were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse.
When
we were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse.
Memory of them. You start looking at things, and I read a story about the insider trades. And I probably wouldn't have thought much about it, except one of the trades was the client, Marsh & McLennan. And then I looked at the other trade, and it was American Airlines. And then it's like, from the news, American Airlines hits directly into Marsh & McLennan, and that's what triggers the trades to be valuable. So then I'm like, all right, I got a lot of unanswered questions, but I can't answer how Muslim extremist terrorists could do that. So then you investigate that further, and whether you want to go into, the truth and lies of 9/11 by somebody like Mike Rupert, or any of the other various people who have addressed that in a smaller fashion. You have insider trades, and when you track those trades, they go back to A.B. Brown, which is Deutsche Bank, which was the first place where Silverstream built their financial private client portal and installed their software. So, okay, now I got 3 hits, and then you find out the guy who's presiding over that bank, well, he's the executive director of the CIA now. He's the number 3 at the CIA. How did the Muslims get him in that position? Like, I was just amazed at how the 18 hijackers got so much done and were able to get, billions of dollars of money out of there and do these trades. And, oh, by the way, how did the terrorists get,
When they analyzed the stock market after 9/11, the CIA discovered a massive shorting of airline stocks. When the stocks hit bottom on 9/12, somebody made a fortune.
You ready?
Good morning, world. Maria Heller here, alive and kicking and working on a holiday weekend. But what I'm about to present to you is something that's going to astound you. What's even more astounding is the information you're about to hear, all hour and 40 minutes of it, has been offered to some of the greatest people on the planet, rejected, has been offered and brought before some of the great journalists and even some people in the 9/11 movement, and it was rejected. And through the lucks of the gods, it found its way to me. As you know, I'm not afraid to tell the truth, or what I feel is the truth, and what you are going to hear is the big key behind 9/11. And at a time where I'm readying to go to Chicago to speak at a 9/11 Truth Conference, I thought, what better thing to gift the world than this show you are about to hear. I am going to tell you that it may seem like a long lead-in, but listen to every single word. Take notes. Listen again. This show will live here at the free show link and iPod download for at least 1 week, 24/7. The man you are going to hear is a whistleblower who is pointing out who benefited from 9/11, what was behind it, the kind of software and alert system in place, and who made the big bucks on 9/11. His name is Richard Andrew Grove. He's an excellent speaker. He's a fearless American patriot. So remember that, as usual, you heard it first on the Maria Heller Show. So this is not a corporate-owned show. This is not a make-believe progressive show. This is an American just like you who wants to work on saving our country and getting the truth out there. So without further ado, please share this interview far and wide with every journalist you know, every 9/11 person you know, every neighbor you have, everybody on your email list. So without further ado, I'm going to present Excellence, Richard Andrew Grove.
This transmission originated on April 23, 2006, and is addressed to the future of America.
For those of you who don't know me, I produce, research, and host the Maria Heller Show, going into, even I can't believe it, its 7th year on the net next month, worldwide. A lot of you may know that this week I popped and busted one of the biggest 9/11 stories ever, and I'll talk some more about that. Thank you. Talk some more about that later on, and I will be introducing that hero to you. He's here tonight. He will be my first live guest when I get back. Okay, there were also billions of dollars of gold found by the firemen of New York City under the World Trade Center towers. And of course, once the firemen had located the gold, Giuliani put the cops on them, which was not a good thing. Firemen and police don't usually get along together too well in New York. And if I had to tell you which ones are more honest, I would say it's the firemen and not the cops of New York City. This week I broke probably the biggest 9/11 story that we've all been waiting for, saying who the hell made the money and what really went on 9/11. It was a story that was presented to me on Saturday on a holiday weekend. I worked all night Saturday, all day Sunday, transferred it into different files and formats, and got it on the internet. That story went through the roof. It's still going through the roof. It's doing so well for my stats, I left it there for another week. It doesn't cost you anything to go there, maria.net, MERIA.net, and listen to it. My latest star whistleblower, who happens to be here tonight, his name is Richard Andrew Grove. He can attest that a lot of money in gold was made on put options and speculations that day, but he can also tell you how it was done. You see, if you do some research on Marsh and McClellan, AIG, DynCorp, let's not leave out Stewart Air Force Base, Elliot Spitzer, and who backs Mr. Not Hero, Panacea Software Company, Kroll Associates, Oracle Software, or better yet, just go into the archives and listen to Richard. He's going to be on the show June 12th, and like I said, luckily he's here tonight. Richard, where are you? Why don't you stand and take a bow for being a hero? And in my best mother and grandmother Italian-Jewish guilt, even though I'm not Jewish, I know what Jewish guilt is, believe me. I want to say this to everybody in the news, everybody in the online community, everybody in the 9/11 community, everybody that this kid tried to get that information to that was either too busy, too full of themselves, too full of their ego to pay any attention to it. Shame on you. Now, let's take a look at Sir Rudy Giuliani's part in this. Okay? Rudy Giuliani just happens to be wherever explosions are. Do you ever notice that? It's a shame, it's a shame to me.
But most, I guess the guy who best documented all this in a book was Peter Dale Scott, who is a professor from Berkeley. He's written several books on the drug trade in connection with the intelligence organizations and how the black markets work and how the economy works. And his book on 9/11 about empire building and the drug trades and whatnot really brings it all tied together. And when you understand the continuity of government is where the Patriot Act came from, and that these guys were in bunkers underground waiting to make sure that the ruse, the scheme on top, the whole 9/11 myth that was being created was going to be bought. Because by all rights, if we were paying attention as citizens, we could have called them out in the first couple days and said, this is bullshit. And they were prepared to do that. They had another, continuity of government really means change of government. It's a changeover. It's a coup, right? Now, they already had their people installed in 2000, but on 9/11, there's a whole other set of people who were actually responsible who were underground waiting to make sure that we bought off on it. And to prove that, Jeb Bush had declared a 3-year standing state of